Okay, so I am going to show you how to use the Nearpod add-on to make a Google slide presentation more interactive. So I'm going to first pull up my Google slide presentation and I'm going to go to add-ons. And if it's your first time ever doing this, you are going to go to Get Add-ons and type Nearpod. I already have it, so it's going to be right here, Nearpod, and I'm going to open my Nearpod. Okay, now this is going to show me all the different tools that I can use to make my Nearpod more interactive. I can add audio, a BBC video, a collaborative board, draw it, field trip, vocabulary, fill in the blanks, a flip grid, graphic calculator. Okay, so just you see all these different ones. Okay, when I first started, I tried just to stick with I would pick like 3 to stick with, okay, like just a few. So, like, some of my go-tos were my collaborative board, which I will show you, and then the open-ended question, and maybe like a little 3-question quiz. Just so you know, just so you don't, there's so many different tools, and you obviously don't want every single slide to have an activity with it. Okay, so let's start up here. So this was my original slide, and I'm introducing narrative writing with a clip from Sandlot from the movie. Okay, and our overarching question is, what lessons can we learn from other generations? So I am going to here. I have the video clip right here. Okay, um, when I push it out to Nearpod, the video won't convert. So I'm going to go ahead and make a slide that says video. Okay, and it lets you search right in YouTube. You can even copy the link. Okay, and I'm going to find my movie clip. Okay, and then I'm going to click save. Make sure you always preview everything. Okay, and you're going to see it come down here. Okay, you don't see everything like how it's going to look exactly in Nearpod. It'll be a lot prettier, but so now we don't need this anymore. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this. And this is just my introduction slide, and I am all about making things look better. So I would probably put some nice picture in the middle and fancy that up a little bit. But we're just going to keep moving so I can show you a couple things. Okay, so we have let's pretend the kids have watched this clip, okay? And imagine a parent is telling you about this event that happened to them as a child. What life lesson could you learn from this? So we just had a classroom discussion. Kids turned to a neighbor, they talked, but if I want to use some technology and make it a little more interactive so everybody can share out, I am going to do a collaborative board. So that's actually my favorite. So I'm going to go to collab. Okay, I'm going to copy this. Okay, collaborate. Okay. Okay. So see, notice it just went on 2 lines. So my topic is okay. And then here you can have a picture. And so this is generations. I'm going to find some sweet grandparents. Okay. They look like nice people. Okay. And this shows you how the layout will look when kids type their answers. You can pick, from all these different colors. But imagine you have a bunch of kids in class. You're going to have all kinds of sticky notes on this page. So, okay, so I'm going to click save. Okay, I no longer need this. Okay, and then the kids were going to get into brainstorming about their life and what life lessons have they learned from other generations. So they were going to put their mom, their dad. We were going to talk as a class maybe have grandparents, aunts, uncles, and have them just kind of branch off this web and build on the web about some different lessons they've learned. And so this is just brainstorming. So then I would have the kids do that, okay? And now let's pretend they come back tomorrow and they have brainstormed their web and now they're picking just one of these moments that they are going to focus on, okay? Um, Choose one moment and determine what lesson you learned. But I want them to share out with the class their one moment because we're all going to have different ones. So I am going to do an open-ended question this time. So I'm going to put my question. I'm going to have to change it. Choose one moment to write about. Okay. I'm going to say, what moment? Okay. Now this is part's going to be kind of tricky because they're not writing their whole story, but I want them just to tell me the moment in one sentence and the lesson they learned. All the great details are going to be going into their stories. I'm going to say 2 to 3 sentences. Okay. You can add a reference if you want. You could put a timer. I don't use that too often. I just kind of eyeball and see who's ready. And then this is really good because this can just be an accommodation. If you want to turn on audio recordings and let your students share the moment, they can do that. Okay, I'm going to click save. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and then moving along, so vocabulary video. So I had one pulled here from YouTube, and then I realized that they have it up here, vocabulary, and ours was on the elements of plot. So I'm going to just pull it right from this site. And you have to preview it here. Once you put it in, you put it in. So you preview. That's some good music right there. That makes me want to dance. Okay. So I'm going to click add. Now, if I did not want to do that, I could have gone to web content and just uploaded the link, but I like to put it in this way because it's just embedded. But just so you know, if it's a different site, you can do it that way, okay? Like when I come down here, I have a Quizlet. I could, which is some flashcards, I could actually just put it right as a link. I could make flashcards if I wanted to, but I would probably just put it as a link, okay? All right, so let's say we are done with this part of the lesson so far, okay? So I've watched the vocabulary, and before we get into our next part of this paper, because this is like a whole week's lesson, I'm going to have a poll. Okay, so I'm just kind of getting a feel on my class, and I probably would have one in between these two. Like, I am comfortable with, I completely understand them. You may not necessarily be ready to teach. Okay, but anyways, I would probably put like some type of picture here. This is just to get a feel for the class, and I need a question mark because they'll all tell me this. Okay, okay, so I'm gonna click save. Okay, and you just want to usually like check the order, make sure everything looks pretty good. Um, that's where I'm going to stop right there. And let's see, we added vocabulary. I'm going to get rid of this right here. But remember, if I wanted to just add a link like this right here, I could put it in to web content. Okay, this link right here. Okay, so I'm going to hit delete. And okay, I'm good. I'm done. I am going to save this and I'm going to Nearpod. And sometimes this takes just a minute for it to upload. Okay, I'm just going to talk you through it while it's saving it. This is one I did before that is the same thing, but I messed up. Okay, so I need to remember that my newest version is what I'm keeping, and I need to remember to delete this one because I just don't want to get those confused. So I'm going to click delete, delete. Okay, now here's my lesson that uploaded. I always click preview because there's sometimes I'm going to have to go back and fix something or I won't like how it looks. Okay. Remember, I talked about that first slide, making it look nicer, but we're pretending everything's amazing. Okay, so this one looks good. Okay, there's my video. It's embedded. You're going to play this. Now, it's going to ask you, you'll find this out as you go, but when you play it with the whole class, it's going to ask you, do you want it pushed out to individual devices or do you want to play it as a class up on the board? And I usually do up on the class as a board, the board. Otherwise, I need headphones everywhere. So that's just a little tip. If they're doing it at home, self-paced, that's a little bit different. So then you don't have to worry about it. It will just play when they get there. Okay, so then my next slide is really thinking hard. It's working hard. Okay, and then this is my collaborative board where the students would answer. Okay, and they would type their answers in. And then this is just showing me what it's going to look like. This is where I would go over my directions with the kids. And remember, I was going to stop. And then the next day, open-ended question. Okay, to preview this, you just kind of have to wait. It comes up, and then the kids answer. The kids type, and then you will see their answers appear up on the screen. I will sometimes black out my screen during that time or pull something else over this just so they're not looking at each other's answers at that time, because then we'll share them out after that. Okay, and this is my vocabulary. Okay, so, and then we have the poll. That's as far as I got with it. And then that looks good. So I am going to click, let me get rid of this. Okay. Can you move? There you go. Okay. So it's going to have me go through these, make sure everything looks good. Okay. So my lesson looks great. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my library. And what I love about it is it's here, it's saved. Okay. Now, a couple things. Here's your live lesson. You're doing this as a class. The whole class is in the room. This is what you would use on those extended online learning days. You give the students a code, and then you just remember they're not all going to be coming up at the same time on the collaborative board. The kids will do the activity in their window of time to do the activity, and you can push it out all these different ways. Okay. So that is how you use Google Slides and the Nearpod add-on.